Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief.
In less than 48 hours, Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists in Gaza have lobbed over 90 rockets and mortar shells at southern Israeli communities. The terror group also claims that this latest attack is a successful retaliation for the death of 3 members in Gaza and Syria. And while the IDF intercepted over 90% of the rockets aimed at populated areas, some broke through the Iron Dome's defenses, including one rocket that blasted into a playground and shrapnel that caused light damages. Thankfully, though, no injuries have been reported, and international officials, including from the EU, Germany, and UN, have condemned the Palestinian terror group for its violence. Now, in the meantime, the IDF has also launched a series of retaliatory airstrikes against Islamic Jihad positions in the Strip and in Syria, and while a shaky ceasefire is now in effect, Israeli army chiefs say they believe more violence could be on the way, especially with just 7 days left before elections. IDF Chief of Staff Aviv Kochavi warns that it's unclear if this incident is at its peak or end, or even just the beginning. What we do know is that both Blue and White Party Chairman Benny Gantz and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu are threatening severe and immediate reprisals should the terrorism continue.
אתמול תקפנו בכמה זירות, תקפנו בסוריה, תקפנו בעזה, ואנחנו מוסיפים להכות עכשיו עם מטוסים, עם טנקים, עם מסוקים, ואנחנו נמשיך להכות עד שיושב השקט. אבל יש לי גם מסר לראשי ארגוני הטרור. אם לא יושב השקט, אתם הבאים בתור.
So a rabbi and the king of Saudi Arabia are sitting down in the royal palace in Riyadh. But no, this is not the setup for a joke. Jerusalem-based Rabbi David Rosen has just been hosted by Saudi King Salman in the Gulf state's capital, and this is apparently the very first time in modern history that a rabbi has been hosted by the king in this fashion. In fact, this meeting is allegedly the first ever interfaith group hosted by King Salman, and speaking with the Times of Israel, Rabbi Rosen explains that not so long ago, Saudi authorities would not have even entertained the idea. But Rosen, who moved to Israel from the UK years ago, had been invited to the palace for a 2-day visit, which included a meeting at the King Abdullah International Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue. And he says the experience was amazing, especially with all the young people who can feel their country further opening up to the Western world. Now finally, King Salman established this center based in Vienna 8 years ago, and Rosen is on its board of directors. But his participation there isn't just because he's a rabbi. He's also a member to the Israeli Chief Rabbinate's Commission for Interreligious Dialogue and the Director of Interreligious Affairs for the American Jewish Committee. It's been an exciting morning for Ethiopian families across Israel. Dozens of Ethiopian immigrants have landed in Israel as part of a government-sponsored initiative to bring the last of the Falash Mura community to the Holy Land. The Falash Mura are Ethiopian Jews whose ancestors converted to Christianity, often under duress. And today there are about 8,000 left in Ethiopia. Many have close relatives in Israel, though, and have been waiting to immigrate, and they've been unable to because of the lack of finances and government support. Well, now 43 more Falash Mura have arrived in Ben Gurion Airport on a flight from Addis Ababa, all accompanied by ministers and officials from the ruling Likud party. Prime Minister Netanyahu himself has been pushing to bring 400 Falash Mura to Israel before the elections, and back in 2018, the Israeli leader authorized the immigration of 1,000 Ethiopian immigrants to Israel, but only 600 have been flown in since then. Now, the decision to fly 43 members of the community into Israel just before the elections has also caused controversy, with critics from the opposition claiming that it's a campaign ploy targeted at getting Ethiopian Israelis to vote for the Likud. The health ministry has also controversially eased demands for medical checks and vaccinations that apply to immigrants from Ethiopia in order to speed up their immigration. Today, about 140,000 Ethiopian Jews live in Israel, but 2019 saw widespread protests against police brutality and racism that targets Israeli Ethiopians.
That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.